Breakfast Live on GTV. We are sitting down with our friends from the Minerals Commission, and today we are focusing specially on the fight against galamsey. Recently, the extent of devastation to water bodies that we've witnessed across the country, the presence of Chinese nationals engaging still in galamsey, and we are asking ourselves the question, are we winning the fight against this pandemic that the country is facing? Our friends have joined us at the table to help us understand what is being done on the government side and what perhaps you can do on your own to help the country win this battle. CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, is at the table and he will have some answers for us. Mr. Ayisi, good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Chairman.
You can watch this interview and all other videos from the Minerals Commission on their social media handles, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana. Of course, this program is streaming live across our own social media handles, GTV Ghana. The fight against galamsey, Mr. Ayisi, are we winning?
Chairman, it would be naive on my part or foolhardy to say that we've won. My simple answer, we're not there yet. But permit me to tell you what has been going on since we started this discussion. First, I want all of us to agree that this is a national canker, maybe for want of a better word, cancer. Okay? Perhaps chemotherapy and radiotherapy will work. We are not at a stage where they will say, now, Kofi Nako, no. But what is it that has been going on, that government we've been doing for the past 1 or 2 years? Essentially, let me start by saying that the whole issue of trying to fight galamsey is anchored on two pillars. Two pillars. The first one has to do with the enforcement mechanisms. I'll talk about that. The enforcement mechanisms that the government, through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, superintended by my wonderful minister, and all of us together are trying to, push through. We'll discuss more of that. And then the second one has to do with the reformative efforts, the reforms that we are undertaking in the mining sector to also make sure that people undertake small-scale mining in a more responsible way, in a safer way. So let's start. Permit me to start with the enforcement mechanism. We all know that the government, for that matter, the minister, has declared the water bodies and the forest reserves as red zones. That at all material time, nobody under no circumstance can go and work there. They still remain red zones. You can't go to the Pra or Fin, Birim, or any of these water bodies that we claim we have go and work there. They still remain red zones. I need to underscore that. That's it, just like the forest reserves. So then, what are we doing to enforce that people don't go there? Because it's one thing saying, look, everybody knows stealing is a crime, but then if you like, just, go and sleep and leave your door open. So the first thing we've been doing, or what government has been doing over the period, is to put in place this Operation HOT 2. That is allow the security apparatus to handle the security aspect of it, because some of them have been carrying arms. Okay, and that has been working very well. Initially, it's like once we know the targets, they go and clear them, and then they come back. They go and clear them, they come back. So the ministry, in its wisdom, decided that, look, it has to be a place that we have to permanently police. So then they brought these speedboats. More will come, and then they put them on the Pra or Fin, and then the other rivers where the soldiers will be, the Navy to be precise, will be, what do you call it, patrolling. That is ongoing. And then aside that, still on the enforcement mechanisms, they still go around and decommission this earth-moving equipment, excavators, clear the water bodies of these chamfans and things. A lot has been going on. As we speak, some activities were undertaken 2 weeks ago and now. I'll give you an example. We've been picking intelligence that foreigners are getting involved, not just the Chinese, our neighbors. So about 2 weeks ago, a recce was done, and then we realized that there were some foreigners who are moving around with these metal detectors. So what they do is that they just move in the neighborhood, and then if they feel that the thing picks some kind of occurrence of good, and they move in and dig. So the security agencies...
Which nationals are these? You said they are neighbors.
I'll come to that shortly. So the security agencies did their work very well, and then we arrested 164 foreigners, most of them from ECOWAS, Burkina Faso, people from Ivory Coast, Nigerians, etc., including women who were even providing...
Sex workers.
Yes, sex workers, etc. They've been arrested, they've been screened, and then very soon the security agencies, the judiciary, and then those people also take it from there. But at least we've done that bit. So I'm sure they'll be prosecuted. We'll follow up on that. We know they are still around, but we'll get them.
So the minors, I have a fair idea what charges perhaps may be leveled against those involved in the mining. But the women who were found to be sex workers, is there a law under the Mining Act that is going to be brought against them? I didn't know that sex was a mineral support service.
I don't want to jump the gun. Once they've been arrested, I think the screening, I believe, has been completed by now. The police, the immigration, and then Attorney General will handle all that bit. They will talk to them. They will take, statements from the security officials, etc., and then they'll prepare the appropriate charges. Okay, so let them do their work. But the 164 has been arrested, so it's not as if government is not doing anything. They are still around because they didn't get all of them, and then we'll come for them. So that is that on the enforcement front. Now, the other aspect also is to ensure that those who are not having the requisite papers, okay, we assist them to get the proper papers. But I'll talk about that will come under reformative effort. So Operation Hot is ongoing. It's not going to stop now, because if they're not going to allow us to sleep, we'll also not sleep. I want us to see some videos. You know, I keep telling you this before I come to the reformation or the reforms that are going on. I keep telling you that nobody should see galamsey as a problem for the Ministry or Minerals Commission. It's a national affair. All of us must, that's why we are here. All of us must be whipped in line, must be outraged and support all these things. And I have to commend the media. For instance, recently, was it about 2 weeks ago, UTV, again, that is a role of the media. So advocacy is very important. Ordinary citizens, chiefs, leaders, everybody must get involved, report, give us information. So UTV put out some video that somewhere in Seshi, Elubu, Joaboso to be precise, there's some galamsey going on in the town proper. So quickly the officers went there because we tried on information. So we checked with the officer, how come that he didn't pick it? He said, oh, I have been going there, but I didn't see anything. Sometimes when you go there, so don't come here, you know, there's nothing going on here. And that is true. Apparently, what has been happening all along was that they were digging their own houses. So if you go there, you don't see anything. So let's say this studio, okay? You know, you cannot see this place from outside where we park our cars, etc. So they were digging their own houses and then doing their own stuff. Now, this is a chief and his brother and 6 others. And then, of course, the community somehow have been complaining. But you know the influence our chiefs wield in the community.
So for a chief to be involved in this...
You just take your time. So you see, when they say all kinds of people are involved, we know what we are talking about. Okay? That chiefs are involved, big men are involved. I mean, if you want to know that this is not something that is ordinary, and then the complexity of the issue, do you know the cost of one excavator? Do you know the cost of one excavator? You think the ordinary poor Ghanaian in your village, my village, in almost all these areas galamsey is going on, can easily buy an excavator? So that alone, the kind of heavy equipment and machinery they use, speaks volume. That alone should tell you that there is some financing group, whether chief, some big man somewhere is all involved. But we'll get there. Like this chief thing, we keep saying, and typically in Ghana here, is one thing saying, oh, Mr. Ayisi or Tema is involved in galamsey. You need hardcore evidence. So I'll tell you how this chief issue in the Seshi area came up. So they were digging their houses, so nobody will get to know. A few people in the community, and I hear they even play music to drown the noise, etc.
So then it's a well-coordinated
very well coordinated. The chief and his brother and 6 other people who are on the run. So what happened was a few people in the community, if you like citizen vigilante, were complaining. But I hear they face threat, keep quiet, I'm a chief, etc. And then what happened? They now took the metal detectors, listen carefully. They now took the metal detectors and went around the community. And then for some reason the team picked out there's gold. Then they brought in the excavators
metal
now.
Detectors
metal
tell
detectors.
You there's
yes,
gold
they do
in
that.
The ground.
That's this Burkina Faso, that's what they are using now. So they'll just move around. So they took it and then move around in between the houses. And then it just picked that, look, there is gold here. Then they realized that, oh, even the outside is good. Then they brought in this heavy machinery to come and then clear the place now and then, if you like, mine illegally. That is when UTV picked the story. So I'm here praising UTV for that. Other than that, we would not have known, except where if 1 or 2 people in the community had called our hotline to tell us that people are digging their houses. And it's not easy because even some people are afraid that when you give information, he may be arrested. So we can take a look at the video and you see what is happening in somebody's bedroom. Let's look at it. So this one is the town now. So this is what led to the UTV expose. They brought in excavators to dig the town proper. So then I'll try and find out from UTV how they got the information, whether they went there or somebody gave them the information. So then they brought excavators to do this. Now this is a whole chief. A whole chief. He's been arrested. A whole chief, his brother, and then
that's the entrance to a pit.
Yes, the pictures will roll, you see. And his brother, 6 others are on the run. So that's how come they got them. You see the bedrooms. I just want you to see. Then you see how outraged everybody should be. So it is not. So when I come in and say it is not an easy fight, and trust me, this is not the only chief. There are several others. It's just that the evidence has to be, have to add up properly, and then we'll get them. I don't know why you couldn't pick the bedroom one. I wanted the general public, because we are the only people who have that photograph. The officers went there and then
I'm sure they will be working to put those on
so that is it.
Immediately.
So the enforcement mechanism is still ongoing. The government will not rest until the last person is cleared from the water body. So that is that. Now, in terms of the reforms, yes, and let's look at it now. So this is the bedroom. This is the bedroom. Can you see the bed there? You can see the clothes. Now, this is a chief and his brother in the village.
That's the chief's bedroom.
Yes, that is the brother. This is where they were digging. This is the bedroom. You can see it clearly. And this is not the only place. There's another region. I don't want to mention it now. They are still doing it. We'll get there. So you see, that is the cracks on the building. And that is it. That is a bedroom in Ghana, traditional ruler. Somebody, and the other day I mentioned 2 categories. So you see, they cover it. Even the community people are surprised. I've been talking about 2 categories of chiefs in this country. Those who are wholeheartedly supporting the fight. I'm told there's a Queen Manor somewhere in Achim area there. Clean water. The water is called Esuboni. That's a rivers or whatever. And it is as clean as anything. Okay, so that is it. You can see this is a chief and his brother. They've been arrested. They are in Iseshui police station. So this one is when they brought the excavators now. So you can see they'll dig from house to house. They were covering it. And that is the officer who went there. And how will you see this? How will you see this? And the people, when we talk to 1 or 2 people, when the officer engaged 1 or 2 people, they were scared to just call, because you see, you don't know when someone will say, oh, it is Telman who was a whistleblower. Then they will come after you. So people were very careful. And in a typical village, you know what it means to go and report somebody.
Especially if it's a chief and his brother.
But for the town one, which UTV picked, will not know this. Because the officer says anytime he goes there, he doesn't see anything. If you can't see this from the road, this is his bedroom. So a few people complain, and you think it's very easy to go and confront a chief in a village setting. So this is what happened. So you can see, that is a bedroom. Okay? That is it. So that is it. He was digging his bedroom. How will you know? Even police, when they want to come and arrest you in your room, they got to be sure that, because somebody gets you that you entered my house illegally, or came to my room without warrant, etc. They got to be sure that, look, this one, a crime is being committed or something. and then they can go and get you. Sometimes if they are not successful, people could sue and say, you broke into my room without warrant or search or something. So this is the kind of thing we are talking about. So when we say it's complex, that is not to say we should throw our hands up in the sky. So again, I'm praising UTV for this. It was difficult for the community to expose this. You understand? So our understanding is that the chief has been arrested. The officer followed up to Sefi Bekwai police station. He was arrested. The brother was also arrested. 6 others are on the run. And formally, commission has pressed charges.
Minerals Commission has pressed charges
like
against
we have also filed charges, proper charges that the chief is involved in galamsey. This is the evidence. This is the room. I mean, the lawyers say Reps are located. The thing speaks for itself. So if this is your room, come and tell us if this is not galamsey.
Have they spoken at all, the chief and his brother?
Well, let the law take its course. You see, and there are several of these around Ghana. I don't know to say anything because I don't want anybody to cover up. So this is the town proper. Okay, when they brought the excavators now, and he was so emboldened. He's the chief of the town. Who are you? To hell with you. So this is it. So this was covered nicely. So they moved from one area to like these underground shafts. Okay, and if they are not come to the main town following the metal detector thing, then this one, the whole town will have been hanging. So you see it, they dug here and then they'll go to the other side. People were afraid to speak. A few people we spoke to who complained were threatened. Okay, so you can see the bedroom. I mean, and this is not one-off incident, please. This is not an isolated case. There's a whole town I know which is hanging. We will come to that. We just want to make, you see the bedroom, the clothes are hanging there. Why will a chief do this? A chief who is supposed to police the town, a chief that is supposed to give us information. You are deep and neck involved in galamsey. So you see, advocacy is everything. Every Ghanaian give us information. And the community should not be afraid. Okay? I'm going to find out from UTV how they pick the information, whether somebody sent it to them or somebody just went on a recce or somebody sent information. So that is it. Those are the town people. They are even surprised. Okay? And they covered this. Okay? With time, they might even make so much money that they will even put a ventilation system in place. Like the way they take this cocaine underground from Mexico to US with this sophisticated ventilation system in place. So that is the entrance, that is the room there. You can see the crack there. Something must be going on there. Okay? And the road is a bit far off. So the officer couldn't see anything. So this is the one that led to the expose. That is, and the chief, so emboldened, you take excavator and you are clearing the places between the various houses. Why will a chief do this? And his brother, threatening everybody.
Mr. Ayisi, so the laws are clear on what kind of infringements have been made.
I don't want to jump the gun. The law.
But if found guilty,
the law says
what's the
years.
severity?
Minimum 15 years in jail, fine, and then no option, and the maximum is about 25 years. But I'm not here to pronounce it. I'm now telling you what the law is, so that I don't get myself involved in prejudice or whatever. As a lawyer, I have to be very careful. But at least there's no doubt he's been arrested. There is no doubt he was doing this with his brother in his room. We are prepared to testify. That is evidence. We have it. Okay?
I'm glad that there's been a lot of traction on the arrest of the chief.
The government toughened the law. The other day, I think His Excellency was speaking in Ho, and then when a question was put in, he said one of the reasons, as part of the enforcement mechanism, is to make the punishment stiffer. So when everybody sees that eventually this person or this chief and his brother and then the others that are on the run have been jailed 25 years in the cooler, and we tell the whole world, then it should serve as a deterrent from others from doing this kind of thing.
It's the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, who is sitting with us for this interview, streaming across the Minerals Commission's social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana, and you will find it. We are also streaming on GTV Ghana, our own social media handles. We are talking about the fight against galamsey and all the efforts that's underway. So some people are already in the grips of the law for all these things. Aisha Juan and her accomplices are in court. The chief and his brother are in court. Attempts to even find missing excavators are also underway. But while all these are happening, the PRA is still suffering. And recently, Kafui Day and the team traveled along some of the PRA's shores, and we brought that footage to viewers. We'll put it on the screens. in a short while. But it tells us that despite the speedboats, despite Operation Halt, despite the decommissioning of equipment, the situation still continues.
Tema, you heard my opening remarks. It will be foolhardy on my part to say the battle is won. The battle is not won yet. Yes, you might be seeing these things, but then when we don't put in place this effective mechanism, and then let us all understand it, this is not an event. It's a process.
Because for it to get to this state, it started a very long time.
And then if you want to also stop it, you cannot just go today and say galamsey is over. No. Other than that, don't think that we can deploy, I don't know the size of Ghana Armed Forces, 20 or 50,000.
Kafui brought back some samples.
Yes.
Would you be interested in taking some to the lab for
That's okay.
analysis?
We also have a lab there, you know, these heavy metals and arsenic. But then this is what should outrage all of us. That's what I'm saying. It's not our fight alone.
And people drink this. People use this for their domestic water uses.
And then the question too is that, so those of us living in the community, I'm not shifting belief. That is not to say that we should not take, you know, strenuous or serious measures to deal with this thing. But then people are living in the community. We have MMDCs there, we have political actors, we have police and all those people who are living there. They see people doing this thing. Yesterday, a very sad case, I've seen it on Ghana Web, where I read that a policeman was going after some galamseyers and he drowned. Why should that happen? That could be our father, brother, you know, father, somebody's son, or something of that nature. This is what it has come. It shouldn't have been happening. Okay? So people are still doing this. We see them. So when I tell you that a whole community is involved, this is it. So we'll get there. So appreciate the fact that the general public should appreciate the fact that it is not an event. It will take time. The process will continue. We just have to be more, what do you call it, tough.
So the enforcement of the mechanisms by government are enforced, but then there are also reformative efforts.
Yes.
And you've talked to us about assisting people get legal licenses
so
to mine more responsibly.
Let's see some of the good things that are happening. Because I hear people keep saying, oh, this is glorified galamsey, nothing is happening, etc. But you see, I'm surprised. And I believe a lot of people are surprised that a chief could do this. So let me also show you some pictures of how people could mine safely, responsibly, and do it properly. What we've been talking about. The other day, I talked about Operation Manual, which the minister asked us to develop. We develop it. So we are saying that every small-scale miner, whether you apply for the license yourself or we organize a community miner and a community mining scheme, you must follow certain protocols. Certain protocols. First, once we've finished the inspection, we've okayed and said, look, you can mine here. Before anything can happen, you need to get a changing room, some first aid, some small conference center, a meeting room, office, what do you call it, a first aid, and a place where you can conduct your activities properly done. Now, you can do containers. Even the large-scale people do containers. You can do wood, or if you have some cash and you want to do block, that's fine. I don't know whether the pictures are rolling. I would like to, because Ghanaians must also see how some people are doing most of the areas we've commissioned. That is it. And then let me correct this, because the other day I heard Captain Suma saying community mining is becoming glorified galamsey. That's not true. One, you must always understand that people will always do the bad thing. There is no proper community mining that we have sanctioned, that minister has not commissioned. So any place that calls itself a community mining scheme, one, the chiefs have been notified they are involved. The assemblies are aware, because the ceremony itself is done by the assembly. And then it has to be commissioned by the minister. And before the minister will come, all those things that we want to see in the operational manual, which unfortunately this thing is not able to pick.
They are working on letting us have those visuals
if
now.
we're not able to show it, we can even show it next week. All those things must be in place. I would love that we take them through it. Other than that, we can do that next week. Yes. So you see, this one is about to be launched. Okay, you can see
which
the car
community
park.
is this?
This is somewhere in the Western North. They have just prepared. The officer just sent this through. He went to check to make sure that they are getting ready. So these are his containers for the offices changing room, first aid, etc. Others will roll, and then you see it. Okay, you can't call this glorified galamsey. A typical galamsey site, do you see this thing? It is not the kind of thing you see.
Well, the more videos are uploading videos, for us to see in a short while.
Yeah, so we will do, so what we've also observed, and this has come to our attention. So you see, this is his office. Look at it. You want to call this glorified galamsey? We are about to launch this. This is just ready. We are about to launch it. Okay, and they put this together nicely. His office. Simple. It doesn't need to be very sophisticated. Okay. They've done some simple tiling. I think the others will also show up. Well labeled. Some mini first aid clinic, and then they have to wear their attire. We'll show you more pictures next week. And Ghanaians also need to know that, look, if the minister says that small-scale mining can be done in a more responsible and safer manner, that is it. I think he brought his staff, and this was sent to me yesterday, and he's trying to, what do you call it, put them together in one of the rooms, etc. Okay, that is it. Glass, he spent money to do this. Is this glorified? So the ones, I believe, some of the media, and then let's be honest with ourselves, bad news sells. Okay, and we'll try and arrange a media tour for all the journalists in some of these properly organized, structured, that are following the operation manual to see what is happening. They are all over the place. A lot have been launched. And then these people, the machine has been given to them. They pack it nicely. Once we agree with the minister, the chief, and then the assembly on the date, we'll come and launch it for them. And we'll show it.
It seems like some people are willing to go the right way.
And we are prepared to help you. So this is a typical launch that was taken. That's Honorable Mreku Duka, himself an MP. He comes from a mining town. So this is one of the areas we launched. I think this is Kunsu in the Ashanti area there. So that is a machine that was given to the person. This one was done by the minister himself. This is Tokwai in Ashanti himself. So these are all part of the reformative effort. This is machine given by government. So that is it. They pack it at the site. Okay, so it mills, crushes, concentrate, and produce the good. You don't need mercury. So these are all part of the reform. So this is Akun community mining. Akun. Okay, this is Takwa. Now, look at the first aid room of a typical small-scale miner. So I want the likes of Captain Smart to watch this and tell me that this is glorified galamsey. You see, they've hired a simple nest. There, they've hired it. So this is, and you can see it. We will take you there. This is in Takwa, and this is their first aid room. That's with the gate, everything well labeled. That is the first aid is in operational manual. If there's an injury, so this is Tokwai. So if there's an injury, for instance, the lady can treat you. They've hired her. You've created a job for her. You pay her. Before even they will take you to Gh.Government office, hospital. So this is Tokwai in Ashanti himself, the one the minister himself launched earlier on. This is far back in April. They finished. Look at the offices. So why on earth would somebody say the community mining that is being launched is glorified galamsey? We are also here to tell our story. This is infantry mine, okay? Community mining. And I'm prepared to take any journalist who thinks we are lying to this place so that they will see it, as we say in Ghanaian language or parlance, fili. There are some people who have mounted posts and they've written on it, community mining, they put the minister or the president, whatever on it, and then they are behind there doing that. No community mining is recognized if you don't follow this protocol, and it has not been launched by the minister under a ceremony organized by the district chief executive and the chief of the town presiding. That is the one we have sanctioned. Any other ones which they are picking pictures and sending around is going for, look, somebody is spending his money, tiling the place, preparing it, they brought light there, the whole place, they are sorting out all these things. How will this be glorified? So this we can monitor, our officers can go there, they can file returns, we can know the amount of gold produced. So giving ourselves 2-3 years, we'll replicate this all over Ghana. This is what the minister and the government is talking about. Okay, I mean, anybody worth his salt, any Ghanaian, you go to this site, and you see, well labeled, Akun community mining. People have spent money to do this thing. This is what we are endorsing. That is it. First aid, very simple. I wonder whether GBC, you even have this here. First aid like this.
We have a clinic.
Okay, but this is it. That's a nurse. She's gainful employed. Even if it is 500 or 1,000 Ghana money for her, she can give first aid for anybody who is injured. This is what we are talking about. Responsible small-scale mining. They put there, well labeled, the containers are there. That is an entrance. And this is what the minister is saying. We should replicate all over Ghana. Very soon we are moving up north, a place called Bongo. So they are doing their structures. So those pictures we've been getting, I'm not saying you shouldn't send them. We'll investigate to see where they are coming from. And then we'll go and clamp down on them. Or we'll tell them, come and do it properly, like this one that I'm showing you. I'll send you more pictures next week. I intend to spend the next 2-3 months or so to discuss this aspect. So, yes, 2 things are happening. To wrap up, government is saying that water body, forest areas remain red zones. Don't go there. We have deployed the security to patrol, to decommission excavators and clear them. We will have to do that. Now they are doing 24/7. Okay? So that is happening. Now, outside that, we also recognize at least close to a third of our gold comes from small-scale mining. There are Ghanaians who are prepared to do it responsibly. And government is ready to support you through the Minerals Commission and the ministry. We're saying we'll give you machine, work, and pay. Don't use mercury. Don't pollute. 2, get your structures down. We'll come and launch it for you. We'll give you proper license. And I'm showing you evidence here. So that is it.
Some argue.
Can you imagine the cost of this furniture? Okay, so no. You see, when you enter, even when you go to the community, people will see that, oh yes, this is very organized. That is what we are talking about. Very decent. I'm not showing you anything fun or taking a picture from somewhere. These are all available. I mean, see your Minerals Commission coming to light to 30 million Ghanaians. This is available. We can, and that's what we'll do. We'll try and organize all the journalists and then go around some of these properly structured community mining sites that are following the operational manual. And then we'll even do a documentary. If it's 1 hour, we'll play it on GTV and all the stations. So we'll also tell our stories that this is what the government has been talking about all along.
Some feel that because of the presence of the ones who are following the rules, it's difficult to go after the ones who are not. So the suggestion is that, how about we stop all forms of mining for at least 3 years? No. Give the water bodies a fighting chance of recovery, and then ensure that the systems are actually in place and the monitoring mechanisms are ready to go. Then we have another go at it.
I don't agree. I'm here telling every Ghanaian that the thing can be done properly, responsibly, in a safe manner, under the supervision of the Minerals Commission. We have defined the contours and then the rules. We have an operational manual. We've given it to all the small-scale miners, in hard and soft, that any small-scale mining operation or community mining, before you start, you should have this in place. We will assist you get the place, do all those things, and help you do it. We cannot stop that because people must work. But then we're also saying that in parallel, don't go to the water body, don't go to the forest, don't go and work in Ramsar side or areas that are ecologically very sensitive. That one, Operation Hall 2 will continue. They will clear the place, they will decommission excavators, seize all those things and destroy it. We've got to be top there because you see, that chief and his brother mentality, they are all over the place.
So how do you win a fight when it's like the like ground is against you? No. The one who has authority in that community, the one who is the custodian of the land, is the one who is engaging in these. If the big wigs are involved, how can the little people?
What is it that our grandmothers
assist in that
What
fight?
Is it that our grandmothers and grandparents tell us when they tell you, Tema, you are pregnant, and you lie? They tell you that it will show. Unless you go and do abortion, it's a matter of days, weeks, or months. Your stomach.
But they also tell us you don't tell an elder that they are lying. Yes, so if a chief is doing something, or if an elderly person is doing something,
the chief thought that because he's a leader of a community, and he comes with all the powers and all whatever with his whatever, he can get away with it. But eventually, the law has caught up with him. Eventually, because there were people who were complaining. We interviewed them. They said, oh, you were being threatened, this, that, in the typical village setting. But eventually, he was caught. So that is it. And that is what the government has been saying. Stop, or eventually, we'll come after you. He didn't start this today. We didn't know. He was digging his house. But eventually, the law has caught up with him.
So you think there's a willingness and an ability to get the perpetrators? Some
chiefs
all
are
of
wonderful. Them. I've just seen a WhatsApp message. One is waiting for me. He said he has brought me a lot of information and he didn't want us to come there. And he's going to show us who is doing it, everything. Because we have told them on the quiet. We engaged them that he's waiting for me. I'm going to get the information. I'll talk to him. I'll arrange. He'll meet the security. And then there will be a soup. That is the kind of chief we are talking about. He's left his place. I won't mention the region so that people will not pick the intelligence. I know where he's coming from. Okay, that he wants to see me this morning. As early as 6, I hear he's in my office now.
I understand there's some training at the Eastern Naval Base for some people to man the speedboats.
Yes. So, again, you see, the military cannot be everywhere. So we need to partner them. So right now, about 100 people are undergoing training with the Ghana Navy. These are ordinary Ghanaians. Most of them were taken from the community. We will scale up the numbers. So after that, they will work with the Navy to patrol the place. Okay, it's just like people who were once criminals or cocaine dealers have now become, they become informants and supporting the security agencies. That's also the way to go. So they are going to help us. So before you realize, you go to a typical area where there's a water body, you have about 40 people from the community who have been hired, and then they are helping portray the area. He can now tell the whole country that, look, I used to be a galamsey, now I've stopped, I'm now patrolling the place. Or he doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who was doing illegal mining. It's just somebody in the community just to protect the community. So that is it. And the focus is on the water body. Okay? So two things are happening. Enforcement mechanism 24/7 is not stopping, will not rest, because the chief and his brother and their think-alikes are still lurking there. We know them. Okay? And also the reformative efforts that the minister is spearheading through the Minerals Commission. And those are the kind of things that I've spoken. You know, government could have given that money to build a hospital in my village, let's say Rara, or whether Gamash or wherever you come from. But government, because they don't want the Aisha one kind of thing, we don't want the Chinese to come in, give you money, give you equipment. Government says now, may the machine, work and pay. Okay? Work and pay. But put these structures in place. Minerals Commission will come and supervise you. So those ones that I'm showing, we've been going there. We've been guiding them. Do it this way, do it that way. So the ones Captain Smans is talking about, they are not these ones. Those are the illegal ones that they have put the signboard. That's what they do. It's like those who write on their houses, stop work, produce permits. It got to a point where we found out that it is not the AMA that was doing that. People were doing that and then creating the impression as if they are stopping them, but they are there working. So a lot of signposts are dotted all over the community mining. They put the president's picture there, they put the minister, and then anybody who sees it, you think that, oh, it has been properly launched so they can work lawfully. But it's good, send us those ones, because we know. We can go there, get the security to go and clamp them down and tell them, look, come and do the proper thing.
Mr. Ayisi,
so that is it.
Thank you for your time with us.
It's unfortunate my pictures and videos of some of the good areas couldn't run properly. Next week, we will send you more.
Bring them more,
and
then
sometimes I don't have to be here. So whilst you are showing the prayer and coffee day and are watching, picking those water too, sometimes too, I don't need
show
to be
the
here.
good ones.
So I'll send you the video, show the video, and then the areas of the good community mining thing. So as you show the prayer, which is very dirty, side by side, you also say, look, this is what government is saying. You can do it properly here.
So don't do this. Do this instead.
Focus just on the negative, as if nothing is happening. Okay, so that is that. So we are coming after them. Those chiefs, he's not alone.
Mr. Martin Ayisi giving us assurances that galamsey, the fight is still on. It's far from over. He has admitted that it will be naive of us to assume that the battle has ended. In fact, it's still continuing in earnest, and the Minerals Commission has sat with us for this interview. Go on their social media handles and follow Minerals Commission Ghana for all this and more that they put on their platforms. Thank you, Mr. Ayisi, for sitting with us once again.